All right. Be seated. Your next question.
Mr. Depp, contrary to what maybe the jury's heard earlier in this trial, you became aware many times over the course of your life about your sister Christy's concerns about your drug consumption, correct?
Over many times in my life?
Yes.
I think you'd have to ask her that. I'm not aware that she was concerned for the period of my life.
Well, in fact, your sister's had a number of worries about your drug consumption over many, many years since your youth that you've become aware of, correct?
In my youth.
Since your youth, sorry.
Hmm?
Since your youth.
Since my youth, my sister has not been necessarily privy to every single, let's say, move that I've made, whether it be where you'd like me to go with the drug dependency or whatever. She has been a concerned sister in every way, that even having to do with relationships that I was in that she was quite worried about.
Right, right. And I wasn't asking about relationships. What I was asking
No, I
is,
know. I was just.
let's do it this way, given your testimony. Let's turn to day 2 of the UK trial, the transcript that's in front of you, please.
Day 2. So where would you like me to?
Page 279. It's on page 28 of the document, please. It's upper right.
Thank you. Page 279, that was.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And on line 11, are you there? Do you have the document up?
Online?
No, I'm sorry. Is it in your hand? Okay, great.
Yes.
On line 11 of page 279, you were asked a question. Did your sister express anxiety to you about your drug intake at around this time? Your answer: my sister Christy has over many, many years, since my youth, had a number of worries about my consumption growing up. Yes, she talked to me many times over the course of my life. And yes, with Miss Heard, we did speak about it. I think she and Miss Heard's ability to speak to one another stopped not long after this. Did I read that right?
You did, sir.
When you first started seeing Amber, you had you filmed the Rum Diary, but then you went a couple years without being involved, and then you saw each other on the press tour for the movie, right?
That's correct.
And when you first started seeing her after that couple year period of not seeing her, you had just been checked out of a New York hospital where you had been for a couple days to fight alcohol use, correct?
Yes.
And you were drinking, you were abusing alcohol toward the end of your relationship with your prior partner, Vanessa Parody, correct?
I was drinking.
You were drinking pretty heavily.
Were you there?
It's my question to you, sir.
No, I wasn't drinking that heavily.
Let's turn to the UK
It's
116,
definition,
please.
what you define as heavily, sir.
Let's just look at what you said before. Let's go to page 116 of the UK transcript, please. This would be in day 1.
116. Yes, sir. 116 it was, yes.
Yeah, 116, down onto 117, okay? On 116, line 18, the question is, I think one of the problems in that relationship was your alcohol and drug addiction, misuse, if you prefer that word. Answer. I would definitely say towards the end of my relationship with Miss Paradis, the mother of my children, it was a very painful time to break up with someone that you have been with for 14 years and that you have 2 children with. So it was a very painful time, and I was more than likely trying to numb myself as much as possible. Question. Am I right in saying that you agree that you were abusing alcohol and drugs, but you have explained why? Answer. I would say that I was abusing alcohol. I do not know that I was abusing drugs, but I was abusing alcohol for sure. Yes. Did I read that right?
You did.
And there was a time in the early stages of your relationship with Amber when you explained to her that you weren't drinking alcohol at that time because you had a problem with your liver, correct?
Yes, there was, there was concern over the numbers, as they call it, over my, about my liver.
And you shared that with Amber, right?
Yes, I did.
And Amber, early on in your relationship, throughout your relationship, she didn't love the fact that you were drinking and using drugs, correct? You've testified to that many times, right?
Objection calls for speculation as to what is in Ms. Heard's mind.
I'll sustain us to that point
Sure.
if you want to rephrase.
You understood that Miss Heard was not happy with you overusing alcohol or overusing drugs, correct?
From the very beginning,
Yeah, she was trying to be supportive of your sobriety, correct?
no, sir.
No. Okay. Let's look at Exhibit 182, please.
Are we in day 2 now? Or is this?
No, sorry, this is an exhibit.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you can set that to the side, sir. Thank you. This is an email from exchange from you, between you and Elton John in 2013, July 2013. Correct?
Correct.
And the second email down is an email that you sent to Elton John at 5:05 in the afternoon on July 13th, 2013. You see that?
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, move for the admission of Exhibit 182 and permission to publish.
So there's redactions that need to be done.
Yes, Your Honor, there's some email addresses in here, and I would ask that the portions that are not Mr. Depp's also be redacted as well.
All right.
That's fine.
Okay. So no objection with those redactions. Is that correct? Okay. Let's just get those redactions.
It's just one page.
All right.
I believe that covers the redactions, Your Honor.
May I just
Sure.
have a moment to read?
Absolutely.
Of course.
No objection with the proper redactions. Thank
All
you.
right, 182 in evidence with redactions.
Thank you, Your Honor. So this is an email that you sent to Elton John, July 13th, 2013. And Michelle, could you scroll down to the third paragraph up from the bottom that starts with the words "on the other side of the coin"? And in that paragraph, you write, "On the other side of the coin, my kids have fallen head over heels in deep love with Amber, my girl. And that pressure off my shoulders is fucking gone. That is, until the French extortionist, parentheses, ex-cunt, attempts to brainwash them against her, which I'm sure is imminent." I read that right, didn't I?
You did read that very well.
And when you referred to the French extortionist and called her an ex-cunt, you were referring to Vanessa Paradis, the mother of your children, correct?
Yes, sir, things got a little
You can take
tight
that down.
at that point between us, as they would.
Can you pull up Exhibit 214, please? Defendant's Exhibit 214. Mr. Depp, portions of this, we've already seen portions of this exhibit. What I'm going to ask you about are the top 3 messages. These are messages to and from your daughter, Lily Rose, I believe, on February 4th, 2014, correct?
We object, Your Honor. These are communications. We object to the admission of any communications from his daughter.
What's the legal objection?
A hearsay.
All right.
First of all, I was just asking if that was what it was, but may we approach?
Okay.
Mr. Depp, you understood that the last few years before Amber, that your relationship with your kids was such that there was a perception by them that you weren't around for them, and that all changed when Amber came into your life, correct?
Objection calls for speculation.
Just asking what he's aware of.
I'll allow it.
May I have the question one more time, please? I'd love to hear
You're
us
aware that,
ask.
sure. You're aware that the last few years before you started dating Amber, that there was a perception by your kids that you weren't around, and that all changed when Amber came into your life.
This is not exactly the truth, what you're trying to put forth.
No, I'm just asking if you were aware of my question, that there was a perception that you weren't around for the last couple of years before Amber, and that changed when Amber came into your life. That's all I'm asking.
Asked and answered, Your Honor.
There were extenuating
I'm
circumstances.
not sure if he's the answer to it.
Right.
For that objection, I'll overrule that objection.
Thank you. You're also aware that there was a perception, you were made aware, that Lily Rose believed that Amber was a good influence on you and changed you for the better, correct?
Objection hearsay, Your Honor.
I'm just asking for what his understanding is.
I'll sustain the objection. Let's move on.
Very brief
You don't have
period.
to,
You
you
don't
don't have
have-
to answer that question. I sustain the
I'm
objection.
sorry.
That's fine. Next question.
You're aware of the lengths that Ms. Heard went to care for you when you were impaired on drugs or alcohol, correct?
You'd have to be specific, more
Okay.
specific, please.
Let's be specific. Sorry. Can you please pull up Exhibit 839? Your Honor, this is a recording. And we plan to play 6 minutes and 55 seconds through 7 minutes and 29 seconds.
Is this a recording we already have in? No, this
I
is a
don't-
new recording.
I don't believe so, but I'm not 100% sure if this has been
839.
the defendant's 839.
Is there any objection to that audio recording?
I don't believe, assuming this is an audio recording between Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard, then we have no objection.
All
It
right,
is.
okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And so no objection to it being entered in evidence, correct?
That's
And
correct.
it's full content, but we're just playing a portion of it, is that
That's
correct?
exactly
Okay,
right.
All right,
Yep.
839 in evidence then. Okay, thank you.
And permission to play the clip mentioned to the jury?
Okay, I assume there's no objection since it's in. That's fine, go ahead.
By pounding on the door, waking up every 15 minutes and then falling asleep next to the door so I could hear you snore. In case if you vomited, I could call EMS if you ever stop snoring.
Because you were afraid I was gonna die.
I thought you would choke on your own vomit, which is very likely with you.
Really?
Yes, very
But
likely.
I found out a lot.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes, you do vomit a lot. In your sleep, even more.
Really?
Oh, it's news to you? Then this is affecting you a lot more than I thought it was.
I'll be used.
Can you please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 1094?
Your Honor, may we approach briefly?
Mr. Depp, do you recognize this picture as being a picture of you?
Yes, Ms. Heard kindly showed it to me the day after she took it, yes.
Okay. This picture, I'd move for the admission of Defendant's Exhibit 1094 and ask for permission to publish, Your Honor.
We have no objection, Your Honor.
This is a picture of you on a black leather couch, passed out, correct?
Passed out's an interesting way of putting it. Maybe asleep.
Where is it? What residence?
That's in Boston.
I'm sorry?
That was in Boston when I was doing Black Mass.
In Boston. And that's ice cream on your lap, correct?
It is indeed. Ms. Heard asked me to hold the ice cream as she noticed that I was on the nod. That means falling asleep from the 17-hour day that I'd worked and also the opiates that I'd ingested. And if you'll notice, my right hand is in my pocket. So I wasn't participating in the festival of ice cream.
Okay.
I was holding her ice cream, and because she knew what was going to happen,
Okay.
that I would fall asleep and it would drop, and that was a wonderful picture to take for her.
Sure.
I don't know why she took it. But
Well, so it's Miss Heard's fault that that picture was taken. Is that what you're saying?
she snapped it.
All right, let's talk about this because you say you were in Boston. This is when you were filming Black Mass,
Yes,
and you testify that that was kind of the last film that you did when you were, you were taking opiates, right?
Yes, it was right before the, the trip to the island.
And you
detox.
testified yesterday that opiates, you don't take opiates to get high, right? You've testified to that on a couple different occasions, correct?
You certainly can take opiates to get high. If I doubled the dose, then I would most assuredly be ready for sleep. That's not a blackout. That's
Sure. So if you
Sleep.
double the dose, you'd be ready for sleep, but it wouldn't get you high in the way that other drugs would, correct?
well, the high is it's a extreme downer. It that's its job.
Right. And for that reason, I believe you testified yesterday or 2 days ago. It's not like you take those pills to get high. You remember giving that testimony, correct?
I said that it's not like I took the pills
Mhm.
to get high. I took the pills to
Thank
be
you.
normal, to stay normal, so
Okay,
that I
let's pull
wouldn't
up
get sick.
866, please.
What number did you say? I'm sorry.
Defendant's Exhibit 866.
But I also believe that I said that I asked nurse, or I told nurse Debbie that I had told her that I needed more than I actually took, because I always wanted to have one or two in my pocket just in case
Mhm.
the kick started.
Mhm. If you could take a look at the text at the top of that page.
Yes,
It's a text exchange between you and Aaron Borum. Aaron Borum, you testified as one of Dr. Kipper's nurses, right?
yes, sir.
And this is a text exchange that you had with her in August and September 2016, correct?
So I'm looking for the, oh, yes, yes. Which one are we looking at here?
The
Up at the
top
top.
three. And in the first, she tells you that she's watching Black Mass for the third
Yes.
time, right?
On, yes, so August 30th, yes.
Yep. And Your Honor, I'd move for, I'd like to admit this exhibit 866 and permission to publish, please. And particularly, I'm talking about the top three texts.
The top. So redacting the other text, just the top three texts and the identifying.
Yes, Your-
Information.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we have no objection, but we would ask that the fourth text message be included as well as
So the top
context.
four texts.
Sure.
messages.
And obviously the phone number is redacted as well.
Of course.
Let's get that up and see what that looks like. That's
No
fine.
objection. Yeah.
Okay, 866 in evidence with redactions.
Thank you, Your Honor. Michelle, could you blow up that third text? Starts with "you are the sweetest," please. And in this text to Ms. Borum, after she's telling you that she's watching Black Mass for the third time in a row, you write, "I was high as a motherfucker when I made that film. Ha ha ha." You see that? Did I read
did
that
see
right?
Yes, you did read that right.
Now, you can take that down. You've trashed hotel rooms before simply because you've had a bad couple days and an unpleasant time, correct?
I have assaulted a couch or two. Yes, sir.
You'd agree that at times in your life, you've expressed yourself through destructive behavior.
Yes,
And you'd agree that at times when you were angry, you smashed things up, right?
more in my confused sort of youth. Yes.
And you said in an interview one time, you said the following quote, you have bad days and, some guys go play golf. Some guys, smash hotel rooms. You've said that before, right?
It was
It's just a yes or no question. You've said that before, right? In an
I've
interview.
said it as a joke.
And
yes.
you believe that if something feels stronger than you, that it's a human reflex to smash something or throw something against a wall or punch a door, correct?
I don't believe that I'm the only human being that's ever punched a door or broken something in an internal bout with myself. No,
You-
I
you
don't
believe that
I'm
that's-
unique in that way. Sir.
You believe that that's something that happens when you get frustrated, right? And that it's a mini explosion that comes and goes quickly. You agree with that, right?
When I was younger, it was a little bit more accessible, if you will.
Let's pull up Exhibit 143, please. Can you scroll down? This is an email exchange between you and Stephen Duders, your personal assistant, in April of 2019. You see that?
Yes.
And it's 2 pages, I believe. So let's go to the second page, please. Or the bottom of right there. And you see that on April 19th, 2012, you wrote him, "I got drunk and destroyed my room. There are hookers and animals in here." Did I read that right?
Yes, you did.
Your Honor, I'd like to move for admission of Defendant's Exhibit 143 and permission to publish, please.
As long as the email addresses are redacted, we have no objection, Your Honor.
All right, just redacting the email addresses, but the full content comes in, is that correct?
Yes, Your
Okay, I
Honor.
want to make sure I got this straight. Okay. Redact the identifiers. All right. You agree with that?
Let's make sure that is that the only email address?
All right.
Okay.
Wait a minute, could you go down to the second page again for a second?
Go down to the second page, please.
To the signature line.
Can we just see the top again?
Let's go to the top.
The top of the first
The top
page,
of the first
please.
page. Thanks.
Okay,
In
thank
fact,
you.
is
No
it,
Approved.
objection? Okay.
do you mind if I read this, or are you going
Right.
to read this to me?
We're gonna take a look at it.
All right, 143 in evidence, you can,
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you scroll down, Michelle? So you write to Mr. Duders, "I got drunk and destroyed my room. There are hookers and animals in here." And then if you scroll up, he writes simply, "Watch out for Mike Tyson. Have you numbed?" Correct. And then you write, "Don't want nummies. Thank you. Is it okay to put on a condom after the fact? I mean, if I just wear it for the rest of the day, like that works, doesn't it? I've had to kill a few of the animals for sustenance. I've made quite a mess. There's blood and animal tracks everywhere." Did I read that right?
You did.
And you are currently in a lawsuit for assaulting a crew member on the set of one of your movies in July 2018, correct?
Yes, someone
Yeah.
brought a case against me.
Right. A man by the name of Greg Rocky Brooks is suing you for allegedly
Objection,
punching
Your
him
Honor.
twice in the
Relevance
ribs.
and
All right,
403 and 404.
Mr. Depp, I'm not going to ask you any questions about the particulars of that lawsuit, but other than this, the two bodyguards who were with you on the set of the movie on the day that's the subject of that lawsuit were Sean Bett and Jerry Judge, correct?
That's correct.
Your Honor, can we please take the exhibit?
Sure, yeah, we can
that's
take that down.
available down?
Thank you. I'd like to shift gears and talk about Hicksville. You remember taking a trip to a place called the Hicksville Trailer Palace in late May 2013, correct?
I do indeed. How could I forget?
And the people, it's like a little mini trailer resort out near Palm Springs, Joshua Tree area.
That's correct.
All right. And the people that were there with you on that trip were Amber, her sister Whitney, right? A woman by the name of Christy Sexton, right?
Oh, yes. Okay.
Rocky Pennington,
Yes.
right? Someone named Kelly Sue Milano or Kelly Sue Eater.
You got me.
You just remember Kelly Sue, right?
I don't remember a Kelly Sue.
Okay. Well, in fact, Kelly Sue, you recall, was sitting close to Amber and you thought she was being affectionate toward her. You'd agree with that, right?
Sitting close is not the description I would give it myself.
Well, you just testified you didn't remember someone named Kelly Sue, but I'm putting it to you.
Well, I
You remember someone named Kelly Sue who was sitting close to Amber and being affectionate, and you took exception to that, didn't you?
I wasn't aware that her name was Kelly Sue. Terribly sorry about that. I didn't know her name, but it was someone I'd never seen before who had clearly taken some happy something and was very affectionate with my girlfriend.
And so you removed Kelly Sue's hand from Amber and you yelled at Kelly Sue and told her that Amber was your girl, right?
That's not correct.
That's not correct?
No, sir. Not in the way that you're saying it. I certainly did remove her hand from Amber. If that's the answer to your question. But I think it's not.
Well, Mr. Depp, it's not a matter of how I said it, it's a matter of how you've said it. So let's take a look at page 239 of the UK transcript, please. This will be day 2.
Two 29?
239.
239.
Page 18.
Sorry.
That's all right. A lot of papers.
239, yes.
It's going to be 239 and 240.
Okay. Thank you.
And you see on page 239, line 22, you're being asked a question about the incident we've just been discussing. And you're asked a question. And how did you deal with that uncomfortable situation?
Where are you reading from, sir? I'm sorry.
Page 239, line 22.
22, okay.
You got it?
Yes, I do.
Question, and how did you deal with that uncomfortable situation? Answer, I removed Miss Kelly Sue's hand from Miss Heard's body, and I told her, do not do that. That, first of all, that is my girl. Second of all, it is rude and invasive. She was quite glassy-eyed, and she seemed pretty unsure of her surroundings. She seemed very unstable on her feet, and I remember saying to her, if you were going to take this drug, MDMA, you should know if you were able to handle it or not, correct? Did I read that right?
That's correct.
And after this incident, you went back into the trailer that you and Miss Heard were sharing, and you had a big argument, right?
Yes, there was an argument.
And the argument started about Kelly Sue, correct?
I don't
Amber was
recall.
unhappy with your reaction to her and what happened, correct?
Objection calls for speculation.
I'll sustain the objection if you could rephrase.
You had an argument with Miss Heard, and you understood her to be upset with the way that you had handled that situation with Kelly Sue, correct?
I mean, I recall that that was a part of the argument, but as I had told Ms. Heard, I was sorry if this, I mean, I was protecting Ms. Heard's honor, and I was protecting my girl from someone who was clearly unable to deal with the substances that she'd taken. Right. She was
And-
a little forward.
And I know that there will be differing accounts of what happened in that trailer over the course of this trial, but you would agree with me, Mr. Depp, that at a minimum, you smashed up a bathroom sconce during that argument, correct?
Yes, sir. I punched a bathroom sconce
And-
right by the mirror.
And apologies if we've already covered this, but this trip was in late May 2013.
I don't recall.
Ish. Okay. If you could pull up Exhibit 181, Michelle, this has already been admitted into evidence this morning, Your Honor.
181? No, I don't have 181 in evidence.
Did we not? Oh, you know what? I forgot that this morning. I'm sorry. So 181. Yep, that's right. Yeah, we haven't looked at this one yet this morning. Mr. Depp, I'm going to ask you about the third text down. This is a text exchange from you, a text message from you to Paul Bettany on July 11th, 2013, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then above that, there's a text message exchange between you and your sister, Christy, on July 10th, 2013. Correct?
The text above it, yes.
Yeah. Your Honor, I'd move for the admission of Exhibit 181 of just those three texts.
No objection, Your Honor, with the proper redaction.
All right, we could get those redactions then.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm sorry. Could you please clarify which text messages are going to be offered?
The top three.
Top three.
Thank you. Yes.
There we go.
All right, any objection then to those redactions? All right.
No objection.
Okay, 181 in evidence with redactions.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
I'd like to take a look at the text that you sent to Paul Bettany on July 11th. If you could blow that up, please, Michelle. And we just talked about this trip to Hicksville. If you just, yeah, there we go. If you go to the second paragraph or the kind of the fourth line down, you write to Mr. Bettany, missing you and yours, and await our dangle on the island. You may have to drink for me. I, of course, pounded and displayed ugly colors to Amber on a recent journey. I am an insane person and not so fair-headed after too much of the drink. Weed, pills, fine. Booze, my capacity is too large and I won't stop. Ugly and sad, oh, how I love it. Did I read that right?
You did.
If you go up, please, this is a text message from exchange between you and Christy, in which Christy texts you, she wants to talk to me. She doesn't know what to do. Loves you, but doesn't know always what to do. She's worried about it all. And you write to her, it was not pleasant today. I wasn't aware she had another goddamn photo shoot tomorrow. That's really why she fucking left. I don't need actress bullshit and her fucking ambition. That's what you wrote to your sister about Amber on July 10th, 2013. Did I read that right?
You did.
I'd like to turn to, you can take that down, Michelle. I'd like to turn to the Boston plane flight that we've talked about a little bit in the trial.
Yes.
The night before the flight, and sorry if we covered some of this, but just to orient the jury to the sequence of events, the night before the flight, Miss Heard was in New York and you were picked up in Boston by private jet. So the jet that you chartered picked Miss Heard up along with Savannah McMillan and then flew to Boston and picked you up along with some other people. Is that right?
That's correct.
And then all of you flew back to Los Angeles.
That's correct.
And the night before that you were due to meet up to take this plane flight, you and Miss Heard had a heated discussion on the phone about scenes that she was doing in a movie with James Franco, right?
I don't recall what the argument was about. There are many to.
Let's go to page 293 of your UK transcript, please.
Yes.
Did I say 293?
Yes.
Okay. And on line 22, you were asked a question the night before you were due to meet up. Did you have a heated discussion on the telephone with Miss Heard about what was happening with James Franco, the scene she was doing with James Franco? Answer, I do not recall, but it is highly likely. Did I read that right?
In fact, I'm not sure where you are.
Okay. Day
Sorry.
2, page 293. It's on page 32 of the document.
Line 22, I think, is the issue.
Page 32, line 22. Thank you, Your Honor.
Line 22.
Line
Okay.
22 on page 32.
Yes.
Too many numbers. Are you there?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
I
so
found it, sorry. Thank you.
question, the night before you were due to meet up, did you have a heated discussion on the telephone with Miss Heard about what was happening with James Franco, the scene she was doing with James Franco? Answer, I do not recall, but it is highly likely. Did I read that right?
You did.
And you suspected that Amber was having an affair with James Franco, correct? That was the reason for your argument.
Yeah. Yes.
And when you got on the plane, you considered that she was also being judgmental toward you because she believed that you were inebriated and under the influence of drugs, correct?
That was a constant.
And I'm talking about this particular plane flight.
Well,
You
still
consider that
constant.
she was being judgmental toward you because she believed you were inebriated and under the influence of drugs when you got on this plane, correct?
Yes,
And at some point on the flight, you ended up sleeping on the bathroom floor, right?
I did.
You testified to that yesterday, correct?
I did. Yes, sir.
And when you landed, you were quite ill when you landed in Los Angeles, correct?
I don't recall being quite ill. It's possible. I don't know what you're referring to.
Let's
Maybe you
take a
could
look
take
at
me there.
page, yeah, sure. Let's take a look at page 313 of your UK transcript, please.
3:30.
It's on page 37 of the document.
May we approach Your Honor?
3:30.
All right,
I'm
let's
sorry.
approach for a second.
Mr. Depp, do you have page 313 in front of you?
I do, sir.
Okay. Can you just read, you can read to yourself, the page 313, line 14, that starts with the word were, Okay.
Mm.
and then read that question and answer.
Yes, sir.
Does that refresh your recollection that you were quite ill when you landed in Los Angeles?
Yes, but it doesn't refer to me being ill on the plane.
Sure. Okay. We'll get to the plane ride in a few minutes.
Oh, I thought we just did.
Let's turn to exhibit 236, please. Defendant's exhibit.
Sorry,
These-
I've got a mess going on over here.
It's on the screen.
Oh, and I don't have a mess. So excuse me.
These are text messages that you sent to Amber on May 25th, 2014, the day after that plane flight, correct?
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Your Honor, move for the admission of exhibit 236 and ask for permission to publish with the identifiers redacted.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, if you just redact those identifiers. All right, 236 in evidence with the redactions.
And
Publish.
thank you.
Okay.
Blow up the top email, please. And in this email to Amber, the day after this plane flight, you write her and you say, once again, I find my place, sorry, start over. Once again, I find myself in a place of shame and regret. Of course, I am sorry. I really don't know why or what happened. but I will never do it again. I want to get better for you and for me. I must. My illness somehow crept up and grabbed me. I can't do it again. I can't live like that again. And I know you can't either. I must get better, and I will. For us both, starting today, I love you. Again, I'm so sorry, so sorry. I love you and feel so bad for letting you down. Yours. Did I read that right?
You did.
And let's pull up Exhibit 245 one more time, which has been admitted into evidence this morning, Your Honor. And Mr. Depp, I know that we've seen this before this morning, but your email that I just read to you to Ms. Hurd, or your text, was from May 25th, 2014. 5 days later, you text your good friend Paul Bettany, and you tell him that you had drank all night before you picked up Amber to fly to LA. You tell him that you had had no food for days, powders, which is cocaine, right? Powders is cocaine, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Half a bottle of whiskey, 1,000 Red Bull and vodkas, pills, 2 bottles of Champers on plane, and then you write, what do you get? An angry, aggro engine in a fucking blackout, screaming obscenities and insulting any fuck who got near. I'm done. I am admittedly too fucked in the head to spray my rage at the one I love.
I
For
see
little
that.
reason as well.
Mm.
I'm too old to be that guy, but pills are fine. Did I read that right?
You did.
Now, the 2 bottles, you can leave that up. The 2 bottles of champagne on the plane, that was about, when you wrote 2 bottles of champagne on the plane, that was about the plane ride from Boston to LA, correct?
Yes, it comes just after 1,000 cans of Red Bull.
And at least parts of that plane flight, you were in a blackout, right?
There's
There's no reason you'd tell Paul Bettany that you were in a blackout if it wasn't true, correct?
there are again, when I write something, when I write a text, especially if I'm in a particularly impassioned place, it's a canvas, it's a painting.
Right.
You
And I
choose your
appreciate that.
colors.
That wasn't my question, sir. My question was very simple.
Okay.
Would you agree that at least on parts of that plane flight, you were in a blackout?
No, I wouldn't agree that I was in a blackout. I
Okay,
would say
let's
that
look
there's
at
a
page
difference between
333
a
of your-
blackout and when you're on opiates.
Let's look at page 333 of your transcript.
333.
This is day 2. This is from the UK trial.
Yes, we seem to be there a lot.
Your Honor, may we approach, please?
Okay.
Do you see that page, Mr. Depp?
333, yes, I do.
Okay, and you see on line 8, you were asked a question, but parts of that flight are blacked out. Answer, apparently, but yes, apparently that is what I am saying to Mr. Bettany. Question, yes. Is there any reason why you would say that to Mr. Bettany if it were not true? Answer, probably not. Did I read that right?
You did.
And you would agree that on that flight, you were very drunk and that you had taken drugs either before or during the flight, correct?
I know that I knew that I was going to have a very ugly, I was going to end up with a very ugly situation with Amber. So
Mr.
I
Depp,
doubled up
with respect,
the,
trying to respect the court's time and the jury's time, that was not my question. My question
I
was simply,
understand when
you
you
would
take 5
agree,
minutes to look for a
you would agree,
document.
you would agree that on that flight, you were very drunk and you had taken drugs either before or during or both. Correct?
Objection compound.
All right, sustained.
You would agree that you were very drunk on that flight, correct?
I do not agree that I was very drunk on that flight.
And you would agree that you had taken drugs either before or during that flight, correct?
I had taken a double dose of the roxycodone, which is different than a blackout.
But you don't agree that you were very drunk.
I don't recall drinking a whole, you don't need to drink a whole lot when you're on those things. You don't have time.
You just testified you weren't drunk on the flight, okay?
I don't recall being drunk. No.
All right, let's look at page 335 of your UK testimony.
Okay, Mr. Roddenberry. Where would you like to start?
Line 11, please. You were asked a question. I want to make sure it is quite clear what you were saying about the Boston plane incident. You were very drunk. You had taken drugs either before or during or both. Do you agree with that? Answer, sure. For the purposes of getting through this, let's say yes. Everything you have said, I agree. Did I read that right?
You did. I was caving in from.
That's
I know
my
you
question
were.
was simply, did I read
Yes,
that
yes,
correctly,
yes,
Mr. Depp?
I understand.
Now, can we pull up exhibit 243, please? Actually, no, you know what? Let's go to exhibit 221. Your Honor, this is a recording, and I'd be happy to read. We're going to play three excerpts from it.
Okay, and there's no objections to the entire audio recording coming in, is that correct?
May we approach? I would just like to know what it is first.
Okay.
Your Honor, we would offer the full exhibit 221 into evidence with the following 3 excerpts to be played. The first is the start of the audio through 1 minute, just the first full minute, and then 2:50 through 3:20, 2 minutes and 50 seconds through 3:20, and then 9:30 through 10 minutes,
All right.
please.
So 221 is entirety in evidence, but you play those excerpts. Got it.
That's your voice making those moaning sounds. Sound like an animal in pain, right, Mr. Depp?
That's exactly what I said before. Yes, that is sounds like a pained animal, and
Let's
it
go to
is my voice.
250, please. And then let's go play 9:30, please.
I'll stay with this fucking idiot in case she gets sick.
Mr. Depp, do you know who the male voice is who at around 9:41 says, "No, I'm going to stay with this fucking idiot in case he gets sick"? You know whose voice that
Oh,
was?
I didn't hear those words,
Okay.
but
All right.
yes, that's Jerry Judge. If you wanted me to answer that.
That was Jerry Judge's voice. Okay.
Yeah.
So you finish this flight. You send the text that we've seen to Amber. You send the text to Paul Bettany, and at some point after this, you decide that you want to go to detox, and you went to detox. You testified a little bit about it yesterday in August of 2014 in the Bahamas, correct?
The recording of the pain noises is not from that flight, sir.
Not my question. My question is, you went to detox in August 2014, right?
Don't recall exactly.
And you were there on the island with,
Oh, on the island, yes,
yeah,
of course.
you were there on the island with Amber and Debbie Lloyd and Dr. Kipper, correct?
That's correct, yes.
You and Amber were on one side of the island, right?
Yes,
And Amber was effectively dedicating herself to your well-being during this detox process, correct?
you could describe it as that, as at the beginning, yes, certainly.
She was trying to help you get through it, right?
One would think.
And as far as you know, she's never been in any sort of detox in her life, right? Certainly not when you were together, correct?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. And we all heard your testimony yesterday. Detox, it sounds painful. It sounds tough. Fair?
Yes, that's
And you testified yesterday about her not giving you medications at a certain time, but you, sir, have no personal knowledge of whether or when Amber had been in touch with Dr. Kipper or Debbie Lloyd about when to give you medicine, correct?
I
You have
remember.
no personal knowledge of that.
Yes, I do. I remember Amber calling them on the radio, and when I was complaining that I needed the meds when I was in agony and went to the shower, she called them up because she had said that I was in a manic state or it was in some mania, and they came up there.
Okay. And sometime after detox, fair. And you said that they came up there. But my point to you is you have no personal knowledge of what Dr. Kipper or Debbie Lloyd communicated to Amber about whether and when to give you medicines. You weren't part of those communications, correct?
Sure, I was. I was there during those discussions.
Right, but
There were times sort of written down, but you know, the golden rule essentially is if the patient is in an uncomfortable or potentially dangerous state, which would lead to seizures, medication should be distributed. That's what I remember, even though if it was supposed to be delivered at 4 p.m. and it was 3:15 or 3:30,
according to you, that's what you recall the golden rule was, right?
Yes, I
Okay.
mean, that's what doctors and patients.
And
Yeah.
sometime after detox, you texted Amber and you said, "Thank you so much for getting me fucking clean, baby." Right? Remember that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And you, actually, let's pull up. You didn't just express your thanks to Amber. You expressed it to other people as well, what Amber had done for you, correct? Let's pull up plaintiff's exhibit 120, page 41, please. This is plaintiff's exhibit, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Is this a screen thing or am I searching for something?
This is a screen thing.
Okay, thank you.
Screen thing that we have to rotate. And the only question I have for you is the question on the top of the page,
Yes.
sent on August 19th, 2014, from you to Paige. Now, Paige is Amber's mom, right?
That's correct.
Your Honor, I'd move for the admission of just this page of this exhibit with just that text and the identifiers redacted.
Which page of this exhibit is it?
I'm sorry?
Which page of the exhibit is
It's
it?
at page 41,
Page 41. So
or it's listed as exhibit 120_0041.
120, let's make it A, page 41. Is that way?
That sounds good, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, page 41. And we want it redacted? Or
So just to be clear, if it's just the top
Just the top
text
text,
message
yeah.
and the identifiers are removed, we have no objection.
Okay, so we
Yep.
redact that way?
Thank you, Your Honor.
And just that page, yes.
And just
Yeah, sure.
Page 41. Okay, all right, so 120A in evidence as redacted.
Permission to publish, Your Honor?
Yes, yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Depp, this is in this text that you send to Paige Heard, Amber's mom, on August 19th, 2014, you say the following, and I understand that you gave certain testimony yesterday about what you perceived Ms. Heard's role in your detox to be, but on this date, you sent this text to Ms. Heard to Paige Heard, and you say, I couldn't have made it without her. I would have gone for a swim and swallowed a big drink of ocean without her, to be honest. It was a hell of my own doing, and your little girl walked through with me step by step. I know you're already proud of her, but if you'd have seen her in action, amazing. It was an exercise of monumental patience and instinct. I wouldn't be alive, sweetheart. There were more than a few times when I thought it would be more simple to take that route. It was Amber and Amber only that got me through this, and it was not easy. Thank you for her first. And thank you and that sweet fucker David for all of your words of support. I'm through the other side now, I think. I hope. All this boy's love, your son Outlaw. Did I read that right?
You did, sir.
You can take that down. Thank you. Now, you flew, you got married to Amber on early February, February 3rd, 2015.
Apparently,
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. You remember the year today? 2015, right?
That sounds about right.
Okay. And a week after your wedding, you left for Australia to start the process of shooting the 5th Pirates of the Caribbean movie, right?
That sounds about right, yes.
And Amber was filming in London at the time. She left directly from the wedding to fly to London to film London Fields with Billy Bob Thornton, right?
That's correct.
And the plan was that she was going to fly out from London to Australia directly to join you for the filming of Pirates 5, right?
At some point, yes.
And she was going to stay in that house with you for the duration of the filming, correct?
I don't know that it was the duration, but sure.
Okay. And you testified on Tuesday, I guess, that when you went there in February of 2015, you'd been off of alcohol for 18 months. You testified to that. Remember giving that testimony?
Yes.
That's just nonsense, right? We've already looked at
Thank you.
May 2014, you were drunk on that plane, and you've admitted to that. So that's not 18 months before. So that testimony that you gave when you said you had been sober for 18 months before you arrived in February of
Objection, Your
2015 was not true, correct?
What's the objection?
May we approach?
Your Honor,
What's
I
the,
mean,
what's the objection?
He's testifying, Your Honor.
It's a compound. Could you just do maybe one question? Let's do that.
Mr. Depp, you had not been sober off of alcohol for 18 months before you went to Australia in February 2015, correct?
It's possible that it was not 18 months, maybe it was 17, maybe it was 16. Maybe.
It was actually a lot less than that because at a minimum, you were drunk on that plane flight from Boston to Los Angeles in May of 2014.
That's incorrect, sir. I said that I had had a glass of champagne and I had taken a double dose of the narcotics, of the opiates. That's a very different thing from being drunk.
Okay, and a very different thing from what you texted Paul Bettany, correct?
Again.
Okay, so the Boston flight was in May 2014. You go to Australia in February of 2015, having testified that you were off of alcohol for 18 months. Now, when you went to Australia in February of 2015, you also lied to the cast insurance company that was insuring you for Pirates 5, didn't you?
After she cut my finger off?
No, no. Well, that's your account of it, sir. Before you went to Australia, let's do it this way. Let's pull up Exhibit 500, please.
500?
500, Defense Exhibit 500.
Yes, I'd like to see who I lied to.
Mr. Depp, you see this as it's called a cast insurance medical certificate, correct?
Yes, I see that, yes.
Okay. And it's dated, this is in, I believe it's in the not the way we do dates in the US, because you can see on the lower left column, examinee's start date of filming 16/2015. So that means February 16th, 2015, correct?
Correct.
Your
And
Honor,
the date of the exam,
before we go any further, we'd ask to be able to see this entire document.
I'm just asking about the top of it. I'm happy if we want, there's specific parts I'm asking about, but if we want to, if they want to scroll through it, that's fine.
It's unclear whether Mr. Depp has ever even seen this, so we just appreciate the courtesy of being able to see the entire document.
That's fine, Your Honor. I mean, I'm going to direct him to certain parts of it, but that's fine if they want to. I'm just trying to move things along here.
I understand.
I'm sorry?
I have a hard copy if you'd like to look at that.
They'd like to see page 3.
If I may approach, Your Honor, that would be. It's,
What, I'm confused. What,
they just scrolled to the last page, so we can just view it here. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, sorry. I appreciate that.
go ahead, Mr. Rottenborn. Your question?
Yes, I do. Mr. Depp, this is your signature on the page of the document being displayed here, correct?
That is
And it's dated February 11th, 2015.
correct.
Your Honor, with the understanding that if the exhibit for the court will have to redact signatures, I'd move for admission of this document and permission to publish.
Any objection?
Your Honor, may have some medical information, so at this time, we'd like an opportunity to ensure. This
I
is an insurance form with medical information. I just want to make sure we're not publishing anything that shouldn't be.
Your Honor's made clear that anything that comes into evidence in this case will be published to the jury, whether it's
Well, there may be
confidential or not.
irrelevant medical information that Your Honor has already ruled is not admissible.
Approach, please come here.
And then. Okay. And then can you scroll down, Michelle? Scroll down again. Okay. Your Honor, these redactions were on here before we, I'm told before we got the document, so no issue there. And then we would propose to just redact the, if you go up one page, I don't, that's the proposed redaction. And if you want us to redact the first three lines, M, N, and 2, that's fine too. Why don't you go ahead and redact those, Michelle?
That's fine with those redactions.
I'm just trying to move this along as quickly as we can, Your Honor.
All right.
All right.
500 in evidence with the redactions. When you have agreed redactions. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. So we looked at your signature, Mr. Depp. If scroll down, please, Michelle. 2 more pages. There's your signature, and then this is it's an insurance form for your that the studio Disney took out for your for you filming Pirates 5, correct?
I guess so, yes.
Okay, and you see the role here. It's listed as Captain Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp. Coverage status, full coverage, effective date, February 11th, 2015, right?
I see that.
And you're aware it's not uncommon for studios to want to insure actors that are playing in a movie in case something happens, right?
It's happened
It's
for
common.
30 plus years for me.
Correct. So if you can scroll up, please. And in order to do that, you have to provide certain information to see if you're insurable, right?
Correct.
Okay. And in this document, which you signed, dated, I believe, February 11th, you were asked the question, are you currently using or in the last 12 months, have you used any of the following? Michelle, let's unredact the, well, there's section B is illegal substances, whether prescribed by a physician or not. And you check the box to the right. Michelle, is there a way to unredact the headers in that column so we can see which one is yes and which one is no? Thank you. So, Mr. Depp, when you were asked the question in this cast insurance form, are you currently using or in the last 12 months, have you used any of the following? You say yes, that you've used some prescription drugs. And when in the question that says illegal substances, whether prescribed by a physician or not, you check no, correct?
Yes, sir.
At around this time when you can take that down. Thank you. At around this time when you flew to Australia in February of 2015, you were starting to feel depressed about your role in Pirates and your acting legacy generally, correct? Well, let's do it this way. Let's put up Exhibit 350, please.
Why don't we go ahead and take our lunch break?
Sure.
If
Thank you, Your
there's
Honor.
time, okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take our lunch break. Go to 2:10, okay? So don't talk to anybody, don't discuss the case, and don't do the outside research, and we'll see you back at 2:10, okay? All right, so we'll take a recess till 2:10.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. 2:10.
All righty, we'll be taking a break here as well. I've got to be a guest on another show at 1 o'clock discussing the Melissa Lucio trial. If you're interested. All right, sorry about that. If you are interested, I will be on a site called Hell's Tavern at 1 p.m. Central Time. We'll talk to you guys later.